that was another lovely track from the fine folks over at Epidemic Sound. Virginia Highway by Tiger Blood Jewel. I love the names on these random tracks on this website. So it's a paid website for music. You are here with the Miller Park Minute, where we throw strikes, get likes, hit dingers, get listeners. Back again with another podcast. This is number like 14, 13 arrow. I don't even know how many days I've posted at this point, and it doesn't really matter. But this is the hashtag truth. But brought to you by your favorite indie wrestling show, Scott Larson's hashtag truth. With that in mind, we are going to get into some truths of the nature since this off season started, and I'm gonna just kind of break down and give some raw thoughts, maybe some justified raw thoughts. Just kind of, I'm taking temperature of the room here right now, and I'm seeing a lot of people in the Brewers sphere, and I gotta say, there's a good negative vibe. I'm feeling the vibe in the room. There's a good negative vibe out there. So we're going to look at kind of where we've been, where we are, and why there's a positive outlook. The end of today's message is why we should have a positive outlook. Speaking to Scott and Dom this week kind of gave me a little bit of, this last week, gave me a little bit of a positive spin on things. And I mean, I've always kind of had a positive spin. I've always tried to be I've always erred as the optimist, but maybe that doesn't always come through in some of the messaging. So we're going to get some of the raw out. We're just going to air it out. And then we're going to get right into the meat and the good of things going on right now. So that being said, I'll move that down so we can see my face a little bit better, because who doesn't want to see this lovely mug? But before we continue, let's talk about SeatGeek, guys. I plug it every day. It's the only real sponsorship I have, so bear with me. SeatGeek code, Miller Park Minute. Go over to SeatGeek and save yourself some money on tickets. May not be something right now. There's no football going on. There's no really basketball or baseball yet. Basketball's going, but baseball isn't, so... Concerts, though, it does work on concerts too, so go over there and check them out. This is a daily show, guys. We are on here every day. 5:30 a.m. is upload time. YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts, we are there live. This week we've got some potential guests coming. I haven't firmed up anything, so on Sunday nights I don't specifically have a confirmed agreement yet with these people, so I will confirm them once I get them or record them. So I don't believe in putting something out there unless I know it to be true. And that'll go with anything I put out, free agents, whatever it is. I always want to make sure that it's something that is true and that is actually happening. But that being said, sponsor of today's episode, Scott Larson's hashtag truth. Look him up on YouTube. He's a great independent podcaster. He was on the show the other night, so I just happened to have this shirt laying around in the closet, and I was like, I should bust it out for a hashtag truth. So we're dropping some hashtag truth tonight. Guys, I think it's no secret. You've seen my reactions to every trade since the Hater trade, everything with Lorenzo Cain last year. We're just going to talk about it. We're going to air out the grievances, and no one's going to hear this. Milwaukee's not going to hear this. The Brewers aren't going to hear this unless they magically stumble upon my podcast, which, who knows? I mean, it might happen. But that being said, so I'm going to start way back where things started to go a little awry for me. It was arbitration time over the last 2 seasons. Every year they seem to be more or less fighting it out with their biggest payroll, Josh Hader. And I always thought that was kind of weird. I'm like, just pay the man. It's gonna be, in just looking at the recent Corbin Burns, the difference is like $750,000, which to us is like, it's hard to understand when you don't have that kind of money. And I still am wrapping my head around that. Just waiting out this situation, obviously, with arbitration and stuff like that over the last couple of years. And I think that kind of spoke to where the brand was and where the team was. They're trying to make the moves to be budget conscious, yet their value is gaining year over year over year. Um, and people will argue you still gotta, well, they're not making all that profit just because they're worth that, but they are making profit. They're turning a profit. No one can deny that they're turning a profit. So quibbling over pennies in the arbitration cases is I feel hurting the team in the long run. Yeah, they signed 10 of the 11 guys, but at the end of the day, that sucks. That sucks because they didn't sign the guy that you kind of want to woo, and hope that you can get him to sign a 4-year extension, or even something small for an extension with Burns at this point would make me happy and make my heart whole and make me feel that the Brewers are actually, wanting to do something here. That being said, we have this window right now with these guys. If you don't sign them and make the fans think that they're not going to get traded, you're going to sit here and we're going to have the stew that is Facebook or Twitter Brewers fans, everybody's angry and like, oh, hey, yeah, we can get this for Burns. And that's kind of the mentality that everybody's in already. So, but going back in timeline, the way that things happened with Lorenzo Cain last year, after watching the arbitration and everything that's kind of happened over the last few years with the Brewers, is really kind of put that taste in my mouth. Now, I had a relationship with Lorenzo Cain, as many of you may know. I've talked to him on several occasions. You've probably even heard the story of how I got his phone number. Mentioned it on the pod the other day. But that being said, like, feelings for him in the relationship and the fandom I have aside, like, it just kind of got ugly with how that happened and how that transpired. And I'm sure Kane felt a little slighted too, as they were bringing in guys like Jackie Bradley and all these guys that played the similar position. I mean, that was his position. And, I'm sure as he waned in the end of his career and he knew he was going to hang it up, he opted out. I get that. He opted out of playing during COVID, and I don't fault him for that. I mean, nobody knew what was really going on, and it still sounds like a lot of this, we didn't know anything. So, and this isn't about that. We're not talking about that. I don't even want to go into that with people. But what I'm saying is, from there to Lorenzo Cain, it just left a bad taste. And then we come to the trade deadline. We're in first place, and there was no moves made from a position of strength. First place is a position of strength. It is. Facts. And we had everybody trying to justify, well, we got a haul for him. We got a haul. Well, we didn't get a haul. We traded him, released a guy a day later that we got in the trade. Then we got the number 2 closer in the league. And he wasn't good. He wasn't no Josh Hader. If you look at Josh Hader's numbers in comparison and versus Taylor Rogers, it wasn't good. And push come to shove, they admitted that the Josh Hader trade didn't go the way they expected, and they didn't get what they wanted, and it didn't come the way they wanted, and that sucks. Like, they screwed up. They hate us. He was a fan favorite, and they just offed him like it was nothing. Then you come, and that reaction was clear in Burns, Woodruff, just about how everybody who'd been with him and played with him had been. That was clear that they fucked up. Sorry, they fucked up. And then we go to an off season, and there was rumblings of we didn't make the playoffs. Then there's rumblings that we're gonna start getting rid of Colton Wong. It's like, okay, well, Colton Wong was one of our best hitters. Then we traded Hunter Renfroe. Pieces aside, I'm not taking the pieces into account because we haven't seen them play. We don't know what they're going to do. It felt like a downgrade. At that juncture, everything has felt like a downgrade. I mean, we've sat this long watching free agency and didn't see anything until Wade Miley in the end of December, January, And William Contreras was a good grab. It was. But William Contreras is not does not make the Hader trade any better, because you already traded away your two best bats. Now, William Contreras would have been the best bat on our team last year had we had him, but I also have a feeling that he's got some animosity towards our team anyways. Just doesn't seem like there's a lot to know or a lot to be seen about William Contreras yet. Now, I did say, and I do think he is going to be good for us, and I think that's great, but it seems like we're starting off on a jagged path already with the guy. We've got some control on it. That's a good thing. Not going to deny that. Then we bring back Wade Miley. Wade Miley is a as I like to call it, and I always will mention, one of those pieces where we pick him up for the veteran presence, and they have a guy with all our young guys, outside of Brandon Woodruff, they're all under 30 years old. So that's a good ad. That's a very good ad. Then we get to arbitration process, and you're looking at, okay, well, we haven't really added too many major league pieces here, but we got to give these guys raises, which makes sense. Understand. But then it comes down with Burns over $750,000. Woody got more money than what Burns is asking for. Seems a little weird. A little fishy. And it puts rage and anger in us. I know it does. You may not know it right now. You may not be like, you're trying to get excited for baseball, but this detracts. All of this news, everything detracts from baseball, from being excited about baseball. And that's the sad part. They're trying to pump, we all get these mailers for season ticket holders, or for season tickets and 10-game packs and all that. They put out a really cool Santa Willie bobblehead, and like they're trying to pump us up, but they're taking it all away at the same time. And we're bringing a good majority of our team back, so that's a great thing. I love consistency in the Milwaukee Brewers, but at the same time, that consistency can hurt us. That consistency to not do the right thing, to not make the move that could generate the fandom, the money, okay. And I'm going to say this in the most positive light possible. If you pay a Brandon Woodruff or Corbin Burns, and you've already extended Freddie Peralta and Aaron Ashby and a Willie Adames, you lock up a core of guys for an extended period of time. And I go back, and I meddle with this all the time. But if you go back and you sign these guys long term early on, and say, hey, the Atlanta Braves do the same thing, stay a Brewer forever. And we can make this team, we can build this team to be something great. And Wisconsin's a summertime place, like people come out in summer. Why do you think we have millions and millions of dollars of attendance every year? Or millions of attendance, gate sales. You don't think you put these guys locked in a good team and a championship caliber team year in, year out? You don't think that's going to generate more ticket sales, more revenue? I'm going to sidebar that for a second. I think it will, but fans, answer me this question down below in the comments. Would you not pay more money if you could guarantee a guy like Corbin Burns is going to be on the roster? Let's say every 5 days when Corbin Burns starts, they charge an extra $39 per ticket. I think we could sell those tickets, and I think we could make money even at that. I mean, tickets go up every year anyways, right? We're looking at rising ticket prices. I'm sure 2023 tickets are more than 2022 tickets right now. And I bet if you're a season ticket holder out there, I bet you're paying more. I bet. But Corbin Burns sucks. That's my theory. We as fans want to keep Corbin Burns. We want to keep Willie Adames. We want to keep Freddie Peralta. We want to keep all these guys. throw a couple extra bucks for the Corbin Burns, Willie Adamas, whoever, throw it out there. I would love to see it. I would gladly pay it too. I would pay to go to every one of his starts at $39 more per seat, and I get 3 seats. So I mean, I'm just saying, I would do that. I would do that. Now, that aside, all the negative, I've aired that grievance. I've aired it 100 times, and I will continue to go down those rabbit holes when I have my negative days. But all that aside, we have one of the best rosters we've had in a long time. We've got some great players coming through the system, and we really get to see the youth movement. And I think if we can just strike a little bit of lightning in this bottle with this youth movement and with these players that we've got, we're going to be a better franchise for it. Spring training starts February 24th. We are 40 days away from baseball returning. What a great post. And later this week, 2 days from now, we've got Hot Stove and Cold Brews going on Blue Mound at Dugout 54. So you may see me at that event. So stay tuned. But yeah, we've got good things going. I mean, a lot of these guys that we picked up are going to be good. It's just a matter of time. And I honestly, I'm excited for the season. I really am. I'm excited to go to this Cold Brews thing. I'm sad that it's not a non-deck type thing. Cubs had their winter warm-up. Phillies, a bunch of people had their winter warm-ups already. And I'm like, those fans get to see baseball players. I have to wait. But that is what it is. Unfortunately, they've decided that they don't want to do that anymore, and it's just sad, and it breaks my heart. And that's my tiny violin for that one. I'm sorry. Today we made some international signings. I don't know who any of the international players are. They said they were out of the top 50. We got 3 of them. Yada 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 yada. Who frick? I don't know. We'll see when they come to the majors. I'll wait till that date. Yeah, top international prospects. So we've got the Brewers initial 29 additions during this international signing period. There's like a big page list of them. I'm not going to read all those names. If you're curious about that, these are all guys that are young and coming from the Dominican and overseas and stuff like that. I don't know who they are, so we are on the same page. Another McAlvey's story. Club agrees with all other eligible players and still negotiate with 2021 NL Cy Young winner. Unable to agree on a suitable salary for 2023, the Brewers and representatives for Ace Corbin Burns formally exchanged contract proposals on Friday in a procedural step that could lead to salary arbitration hearing. So basically, it says GM Matt Arnold says he's open to conversation. Corbin is a super talented player and is a unique case, right? There are very relevant comparables for him on both sides of the ledger that makes sense, and that is really just part of the process. We certainly don't want anyone to take any of these negotiations personally. We love these guys like crazy. Okay, so he's saying the public thing at that point. That's what that is. He's saying the thing for public to make it feel like it's not a bad thing. And I get it. He probably is trying to also work a long-term deal out of this or an extension of some sort. So that being said, we've rounded up. We've got Willie locked into his arbitration number, Caratini, Keston, Telez, Abraham Toro, Luis Urias, Eric Lauer, Hobie Milner, Devin Williams, and Brandon Woodruff. And I actually read those numbers already, so I'm not going to re-go through that. I think that's just beating a dead horse. Sal. Wow, I'm struggling tonight. Salary arbitration is basically just a way for the players to get a raise. That's what this is every year. These are guys that are not fully vested. They're still on that, club control. This is just their way of getting a raise. That's all it comes down to. These guys don't become free agents. That's very, very real. And that's just what it is. So we had to give a raise to that guy. It wasn't said, but we had to give a raise to Abraham Toro, who we traded for as well. So that's about all we got 5 years later, and Wade Miley's back. We already covered this. Spring training workout dates announced. If you're going to spring training, check it out. I've actually got a video on my experience with spring training. There's good information out there. The Brewers groups are very helpful for any additional details. I've got some friends that have given me all the details I know. I don't know that unless I win the lottery, might not be going, but that's okay. But hey, we're gonna switch gears for just a moment. We're gonna talk about our friends over at BrewerFanatic.com. If you don't know about Brewer Fanatic is a website fully for fans. This place has got news articles. It's got a forum, formerly BrewersFan.net, but it's got videos, it's got blogs, it's got all kinds of different stories. Yours truly makes appearances on there week to week, making videos, throwing strikes, getting likes, hitting dingers, getting listeners. You know the spiel, but that's what we're doing. I got some good stuff over there. I was just talking the other day about an article, and I want to continue to reference said article. And this is just in case you are a member of this website and you hear my takes on your article. Please understand that this is just my opinion. I am stating my opinion on what you're putting down. So the other day we read the top 10 Milwaukee Brewers assets in 2023. I think we read 10 to 6. Now we're reading 1 to 5. So they rounded out. They got they're starting off with Willie Adames. Then we go to Brandon Woodruff. William Contreras. Oh, that's an interesting spot to slot him. Freddie Peralta. And then, of course, number 1 is Corbin Burns. I would flip-flop some of these. I think Contreras is he's a good 5-hole spot. Then I would move Willie to 4 and shove up Brandon Woodruff, Freddie. Yeah, I think your 3 top positions are going to be your starting pitchers, the core guys, the Woodruff, Burns, Peralta. I think those 1, 2, 3, hands down for me. And I don't know if they go a couple years back or anything like that. I don't really have that that knowledge. But the other thing I want to mention, I'm really curious about it now. Remember how we talked about the top pitchers right now? That MLB did. We talked about that the other day. Well, I'm really confused too because here we go. No, that's Dodgers. There we go. I'll go back to this article because I wanted to see if they give the numbers that they are using. Hendricks. Devin Williams is number 3. Okay. So they don't show, and I want to know if they are going to consider is it using the COVID season or not? Because what this used to be is this used to use the last 3 years, and I just don't see how they're figuring it. So I'm gonna have to do some more research on that. I was just thinking of it on the fly, as I do. I like to think of things on the fly while I record these things and talk to you guys. Um, that being said, um, we've got some players in the top. We've got some definite talent. We've got some guys coming up. I know this team is going to be good. I don't know where they're going to rank out. I'm going to put out my predictions and more predictions this week. Um, we got Butcher coming back with, I believe he's covering relief pitchers. I will confirm that before tomorrow's episode and make sure that I got everything. Maybe he can tell us why, numbers wise, why Devin Williams is a top right now kind of guy. But yeah, sorry, I tangented. To go back to Bruce Fanatic, go over there, join the forums, check out these videos. These guys have some good articles putting up. There's a good ownership group over there that makes it very fan centric. They're trying to get away from the old adage of the Facebook. Facebook is kind of a negative place, and this kind of puts things in a positive light. They're talking about Jesse Winker coming for a comeback. Um, and how good Jesse Winker has been in Miller Park and in the NL Central. So I hope all that comes true. Yeah. That's about all I got. This has been the Sunday night hashtag truth, guys. I will see you every day this week, 5:30 a.m. Even if it's a short video. I think you saw the one I shot the other night. If you haven't, go back and watch it. I was so tired. I was so freaking tired, but I did it because I don't want to miss an episode. That's the goal. That's the end of the day goal. As I do this, as I research, as I want to be the best podcast for you, the listener, for all of us. I mean, where this came from when I decided to do this, I was listening to a Bruce podcast, and I'm like, wasn't there someone that just kind of BS's their way through it? It's not stiff, has fun with it. Why don't we have that as Brewers fans? I want that. And you listen to all these podcasts from all these sports talkers, and you're like, why? Well, this is why I do what I do, man. I just want it to be good for all you guys, and I want to have fun with it. So we'll bring on different guests. We'll find some guests this week. Don't worry, they'll be here. Then we got the Butcher coming back at you. So as always, guys, go Brewers. Thanks for watching the Miller Park Minute. You guys have a great rest of your day. And don't forget to check us out tomorrow, 5:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. Anchor, Spotify, YouTube, and of course, Apple Podcasts. You guys have a great day.
Thank you for watching the Miller Park Minute. Go Brewers!